Are we on? Yep. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here just before New Year's Eve. So let's get smashing with another Rabbi Shamati article. No, Baal HaSulam Shamati article, sorry. Shamati number 26. One's future depends and is tied to gratitude for the past. So let's see how we go. All right. If you have any questions and queries, as usual, shoot them through. Now, as far as I know from last week, we had two questions remaining, one from Emre, one from Pelin. Let's first take care of those, and then we'll move on to Shamati 26. It's not a very long article anyway. Emre asked last week in a lesson, Rav gave the example of a mother being satisfied while feeding her child. Could you explain its connection to the mahsom and its relation to the concept of similarity of form? How will we come to see that we are a drop in the ocean? Well, I think those two things are a bit disconnected questions, but let's see. First of all, when we're talking about corporeal reality, right? A mother has a natural love to her child. Okay, Mother Nature instinctively gives a mother the attribute of loving her child, but that's not really spiritual. It's an animate level. And if nature didn't give that to the mum, to the mother, then she wouldn't really care. Right? So nature has to give that force so they can take care of it. Now, in terms of our work, we give that often as an example because in spirituality, there's a thing called mother, Ima, and that is an attribute of mercy. Mercy means giving, just pure giving. All right. So that is kind of a level we need to attain in spirituality. Does it have anything to do with mahsam? Well, yeah, if I can get out of my desire to receive for myself, then yes, I've crossed the mahsam. So that should give me a new perception in reality. And then I should therefore continue with that new level of perception and elevate myself from one desire to another. And then get over it, go above the desire. As I go above the desire, I reach that higher state called Ima, mother. All right. The second question is the mahsum an attainment that is entirely dependent on destiny? No, it's dependent on your free choice. Okay. Would effort not push us even further away from it? If you make effort, your effort should grow your desire. If you have a desire, you'll get closer to what you want. If you don't have a desire, you will never get close. Right? So everything depends on the desire. And the work should be building a desire. Our whole job is building a desire because we don't really want to bestow. So we need to somehow stay on the path, want to stay on the path, or at least. 3, what's the benefit of the system of awakening something before its time and living an entire lifetime with shame? Well, it's part of your correction. I wouldn't say benefit of the system of awakening something before its time. In the system, there is no such thing as before its time. Whatever happens, happens at the right time. How the person relates to it, correctly or incorrectly, that's a different ball game. Right? That's a different question altogether. But everything comes to a person. Actually, everything came to us in life exactly at the right time when it needed to come so we could learn something from it to move forward. Whether we use the opportunity or not, like I said, it's a different question. All right. So you can live a lifetime of shame. It's good for your correction. If you evaluate it like that, it's good for your correction. If you're going to drown in it, like in a swamp, then obviously it's bad news. right? So you have to be smart, right? When a person feels something, he needs to use the feeling with everything he learned to take a step forward and advance. Right? And if I'm not doing that, I'm missing an opportunity. So the creator is always giving an opportunity. We're like little stubborn children. No, 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 no. Okay. If you continue, or if we continue, let's say, like I'm talking in general, I'm not talking specifically for you, talking in general. If we are like stubborn children and we don't do what we're supposed to be doing, then obviously, life doesn't have a lot of patience, right? Life is much harsher than our parents, okay? You can get a beating from your mom and dad, right? In the old days, that's how it was. Okay. And I can tell you, if you were a teenager, like in slight depression, you'd get a slap, get told to get off your ass and start cooking in the kitchen and to shut up. And they immediately put you out of that depression. Okay. They make sure you are back to reality. Right? Same with the creator, right? He wants to put you back into reality. So no mucking around. Now, in the 21st century, parents are all coochie moochie. Oh, we got to be really careful, because the kid might get a little depressed or, I don't know, he's all hyper. Oh, all right. So now we've got a bunch of kids running around like loose cannons and nobody knows exactly how to deal with them. All right. Because we can't framework ourselves. We can't put ourselves into a frame. But the creator, you see, is very smart. He wants to get you to do something. He'll give you a really bad day, give you something to think about. And if you don't think about it, he'll give you another bad day tomorrow and another one. And then you'll have a good day. I think, oh, that's nice. But the next day, just get another slap. Right? So he's like shaking us up all the time. And if we don't move forward, that's humanity's path of suffering. Okay, so whatever problem we have to make use of it. We really have to be smart. Okay, otherwise we're not using the situation correctly. And that is really bad news. And this is why humanity is always increasing in suffering. Okay, with all our developments, all our technology, all the innovation, we should be suffering less. Why are we suffering more? Right? So as you can see, as long as we're not going towards the purpose of life, it's really problematic for all of us. Pelin's asking, Dear Guide, due to health problems, I've been struggling a lot and have had to listen to the morning lessons lying down with the camera turned off. I'm also trying to undergo the necessary treatment and take the required measures. I do not understand whether this health problem happened, especially in order to test my desire. We don't know. Okay, look, we don't know. We can't speculate. We can't philosophize on why I'm having a bad period, okay, right now. That's not the way to approach a problem. The way to approach a problem is very simple. There is a goal ahead of me, and I want to get there. And on the way, there are problems. So on the way, when the problems pop up, if they're corporeal problems, I deal with them as best I can in the laws of corporeality. I still connect it with the creator. I connect it with the goal and I solve it because it's a corporeal issue. I solve it in corporeality. So if you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the doctor. All right. If you need to get some rest, you can get some rest. Not a problem. You understand? Okay. No? Yes or no? Are we good? All right. So it doesn't matter. Also, if you can't, because you're sick or you're like, you might have children, you might have a family in the evening, you might not be able to watch a lesson. You can always watch it when you're going to work, when you're, I don't know, when you're washing the dishes or something, whatever. All right. So nobody needs to get stressed out. The important thing is, I think I missed a lesson. How can I compensate? Okay. Then I compensate, I don't know, when I'm doing something at home, cleaning the house, I'm listening to the lesson. I'm going to work, I'm on the bus, I'm listening to the lesson. Okay. So I compensate. You understand? All right. So we need to understand corporeal problems come to a person, just have to deal with it as best we can, as in corporeality. Now let's get back into the article. Article number 26, Shamati, one's future depends and is tied to gratitude for the past. It is written, the Lord is high and the low will see, that only the low can see the exaltedness. The letters yakar, precious, are all right, we good? We're back? Okay, we're back. Sorry, I had an internet issue there. I'll start again. 26, Shamati. One's future depends and is tied to gratitude for the past. It's written that the Lord is high and the low will see, that only the low can see the exaltedness. The letters Yakar, precious, are the letters of Yakir, will know. This means that one knows the exaltedness of a thing to the extent that it is precious to one. One is impressed according to the importance of the thing. The impression brings one to a sensation in the heart, and according to the measure of one's recognition of the importance, to that extent, joy is born in him. Thus, if one knows his lowliness, that he is not more privileged than his contemporaries, meaning he sees that there are many people in the world who were not given the strength to do the holy work, even in the simplest way, even without the intention and in lolishma, even in lolishma of lolishma, and even in preparation for the preparation of the clothing of holiness, while he was imparted the desire and thought to at least occasionally do holy work, even in the simplest possible way, if one can appreciate the importance of this, according to the importance one attributes to the holy work, to the extent he should give praise and thanks for it. Well, that was a big paragraph, big sentence, and a mouthful, and there's a lot of things there, so we'll go over it again. Okay, let's just finish the article first. This is so because it is true that we cannot appreciate the importance of being able to sometimes observe the commandments of the Creator, even without any intention. In that case, one comes to feel elation and joy in the heart. The praise and the gratitude one gives for it expand the feelings, and one is elated by every single point in the holy work. He knows whose servant he is, and thus soars ever higher. This is the meaning of what is written, I thank you for the grace that you have made with me, meaning for the past. And by this one can confidently say, and he does say, and that you are destined to do with me. All right, let's read again. Let's go sentence by sentence. Because it's translated from Hebrew, right? Sometimes it's very difficult to understand what he's talking about. So what we have to do, you have to take little chunks, okay? And we can cut them down into digestible little sizes. Shamati number 26. One's future depends and is tied to gratitude for the past. It's written, the Lord is high and the low will see, that only the low can see the exaltedness. The letters Yakar, precious, and the letters of Yakir will know. This means that one knows the exaltedness of a thing to the extent that it is precious to one. Okay, seemingly the sentence seems disconnected, but we'll see how we can make sense of it. One is impressed according to the importance of the thing. All right, so that's how it's starting to explain it. I can only be influenced by something if it is important for me. And if it's not important, it just doesn't go in. Okay, just goes off the side. All right. The impression brings one to a sensation in the heart, and according to the measure of one's recognition of the importance, to that extent, joy is born. So if something is important and I'm working on it, I should get feedback. I should get an impression. All right. And that should give me the recognition of the importance. To that extent, joy is born in him. So if I'm doing something which I feel is very important for me, then I can get feedback for it. And every feedback should then help me to progress. Okay, remember in the beginning of the lesson before we started the article, I said everything in life to Emre's question, right? Everything in life, I need to like think of it like it is for a special purpose for me to get to the goal. Whatever happens in life to us, whatever happens, doesn't matter what happens. Okay. The creator is always trying to get us closer to the goal. There is nothing in reality that can happen without that purpose. Okay. So everything in reality is operating and is being done only for one thing, to push, or let's say to guide us all to the purpose of life. It's like to channel us in, right? To funnel us, to funnel all of us into the path. So, and if we get impressions from that, then we should be happy about it. Why? Because we should understand that somehow I can use the situation to advance. Thus, if one knows his lowliness, that he is not more privileged than his contemporaries, meaning he sees that there are many people in the world who were not given the strength to the holy work, even in the simplest way, even without the intention, and in lolishma. Okay, let's break that up. Thus, even if one knows his lowliness, so if I still understand that I'm in a desire to receive for myself, I understand that, and I know I'm in that situation, that he's not more privileged than his contemporaries. So I don't feel like I'm a special person, meaning he sees that there are many people in the world who are not given the strength to do the holy work, even in the simplest way. So I see a lot of people who don't have an awakening in the dot in the heart. Right? Even people like very close to us, like family, all right? We're looking around and nobody's asking the purpose of life, the meaning of life. So I look around, it's like from all the people I know, it's just me. Okay, it's a bit weird, but that's how it is. So from all the people around me as well, even in Lolishma of Lolishma, and even in preparation for the preparation of the clothing of holiness, while he was imparted the desire and thought to at least occasionally do holy work. So from all the people around me, they're not asking about the meaning of life. They don't care about the meaning of life, even we can say. Nobody's asking, nobody cares. They're just living their life as is. And the Creator did not give anyone around me any enlightenment, any awakening, let's say, not enlightenment, but any awakening. All right. But I got even like touching the edge of it from the furthest edge, let's say, have a chance now to go in that direction, even in the simplest possible way. If one can appreciate the importance of this, so if we can appreciate how important the dot in the heart is, how important this awakening is, according to the importance one attributes to the holy work, to that extent he should give praise and thanks for it. This is really important to understand, because when we come to spirituality, we get all excited, and we even tell family and friends sometimes, don't we? Go, oh, look, do you know what I just found? All the answers to my questions. And everybody's thinking, what are you, nuts? So why? Because they can't resonate. All right. They can't resonate with what you're feeling. Okay. It's like you're from another planet. And this is how it is. So a person really, when he's awakened, it's like something very unique and very special. Very unique and special. And we need to appreciate it. So every small thing we do, even a lesson, right? Right now, for example, we're taking time from our life to advance in spirituality. Why? Because we feel it's important for us. Okay. Like, what am I going to do? Watch TV? Right. Okay. So we feel that this is important and it's worth going after. And this is like the smallest thing we do, but the creator really appreciates it. He really appreciates the time that we're taking now to go forward in the purpose of life. That's what Baal HaSulam is saying, I'm guessing. And we should value that. This is so because it's true that we cannot appreciate the importance of being able to sometimes observe the commandments of the Creator, even without any intention. In that state, one comes to feel elation and joy in the heart. So once we give this the importance, and once we do something small even, it gives a person a bit of hope, a bit of enlightenment, a bit of light, a bit of hope, and he can move forward. Okay. So it's all dependent on the importance. The more important the goal is, the better. All right. That way I can get these little feedbacks, little nuances of feelings and sensations, which I can say, oh my God, I think I'm going forward. All right. The praise and the gratitude one gives for it expand the feelings, and one is elated by every single point in the holy work. He knows whose servant he is, and thus soars even ever higher. This is the meaning of what's written. I thank you for the grace that you've made with me, meaning for the past. And by this one can confidently say, and he does say, and that you are destined to do with me. This is also a nice little thing. He adds at the end, remember, when we all come to spirituality, we're all elevated. And we're like really in this like wow mood. Okay. It's like we've got answers. We're like advancing. We've finally discovered a place, a science, a wisdom, step by step explains everything. And because we've got this dot in the heart, it makes sense. And he was, oh my God, this makes so much sense. So everything I went through is now all of a sudden connected to this. And now everything that happened brought me to this. And now I can go forward. So we're in this good mood. All right. And that's important to remember. Okay. Because thanks to that, okay, and the gratitude we felt for the past, we can go forward. This is why when we come to the path, even though a person is searching through darkness, when they come, they feel like they found the light, right? So the darkness we went through to get to the light now becomes a process of, so I had to feel that to now come and understand this and to feel this, okay? So that chunk of life, of period, let's say, of how we went from the search, right? From the awakening of the dot in the heart, we started searching, then we came to the wisdom, okay? From darkness, we came to light, and that's 1 degree. Does it make sense? Okay, look, in spirituality, we're always talking about degrees, right? And we always say the day starts with the night. Okay, so it's always from dark to light, dark to light. Well, this is exactly how our path began in the first place. We felt life was dark. We weren't happy with life. We felt it was bad. We were like in darkness. All right. So that took us to look for the light. Then we went for a search. Well, we went to all kinds of places looking, okay? Then we found the wisdom of Kabbalah that gave answers to our question. And when we found the answers to the questions, we got the light, okay? So that's one chunk, all right? But I can't stay there, okay? So I have to move forward, right? How am I going to move forward? So I'm going to have another dark session to have a light session. Already, like the creator is very straightforward. If we learn to see, okay, it's very straightforward. You want to come to the light, you got to understand the dark. And when you're in the dark, you got to look for the light. And that's why the Kabbalists say, who he is searching shall find the creator. Right? Same thing on every level. Okay. So now we understand that the path is always from dark to light. And this is why we must always remember the past to thank the future. I hope it makes sense. All right. Because our future depends and is tied to the gratitude of the past. So what I went through makes sense now. Okay. And now I can move forward. So my future step depends on how I understood that last chunk, that last phase. Are we good? Makes sense, right? This is very logical. Okay. So from day one, all right, from day one, from the first day, we felt darkness and we're thinking, why am I living for anyway? What's this life for? What the hell? All that, it was like already the beginning. So now we understand that every phase must start from darkness. And if we search, we find the light. All right. So that's why the future depends on how you've made good use of the past. Okay. So from day one, we can understand what's going on if we look and if we learn to look a little deeper. Oh, Ingrid's asking, well, hello, Ingrid. Hello. Does one choose one's 10 or is this given to a person from the creator? Well, look, if the group puts you in a 10, you say that's from above. Okay. If you were left to choose, it would have been your choice, but it's actually not a good idea to choose my 10. It's actually a good idea if I get put into a 10, because then you can say to yourself, look, this has nothing to do with me. They put me here and I'm going to work on it. All right. So, first of all, it's out of your control. Second of all, it's better to nullify. You can say, I'm going to nullify to this situation. I'm going to do the best I can and I'll work as best I can. All right. And your choice, what is your choice? Your choice is to keep moving forward in adding to the connection with the friends and making the friends stronger. And if through the connection you can make the friends stronger, what does it mean also to make the friends stronger? To strengthen the love between us. That's what's making the group stronger. Okay. Making the group stronger doesn't mean we're all like, I don't know, um, on a mission. Okay. We are on a mission, but making the group stronger can only happen if there's love between the friends. Right? Then you can feel committed to people. If you love them or if you feel like you love them, you can feel committed. You can feel responsible. You can worry about them. Hmm. So, yeah. So just say, if they put you in a 10, did they put you in a 10? Yeah, Ingrid? Did they put you in a 10 or not? If they put you in one, just accept it. Okay. And believe it's good for you. Okay. It's a good way to work. Semi is asking, pretending to yearn for this exalted state we've neither seen nor felt. Is that a kind of coarseness we must correct? We're not pretending if we understand the current situation is bad. I don't have to know what's good for me. In life, we also don't know what's good for us. Right? I went to management school right? And I want to do business, want to get into finance, all that kind of stuff. I thought that would be good for me, right? So I thought that would be good for me. So at that time, I thought and believed that that was good for me. And then I realized this is really bad job. I hate my job. Okay. So obviously I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did I get into this? Why? Because I thought it was good for me. Right? So we don't really know what's good for us. But what we can definitely know is at this time what is bad for me. Okay, this I can know. All right. So at the time I didn't know what was good for me. So I went for something that I thought was great. Okay. And the whole family was in banking and finance, like everyone, granddad, dad, uncles, everyone's in finance. I thought, okay, it's family business. Okay. But it's like, all right. And then when you're in it, okay, when you're in it, you understand this is bad. I got to get out of here. Okay. So I didn't know what was good for me. I thought I knew. But when I'm in the state, I understand what's bad for me. So I understand the darkness. Okay. Then I can look for a way out from within the darkness. So I don't have to really know and grasp what's ahead in real fact because I'm far from it. But I understand what is bad now. And if I understand what's bad now, I can at least do the opposite to make the bad better, right? Or I can manage the bad according to what I know now in order to go forward, all right? So, well, so it wasn't that bad, right? Graduated from management, I can manage my states. Okay. But that's how it is. We don't know what bestowal is. We can't even want to bestow. It's just not in us. Also, in reality, we see the same thing. Look, I can't imagine anything that's not created in reality. It's not possible. So even the most fantastic sci-fi movies, they always have to take something like from what's already in creation. They can't come up with something that's not in creation. We can't imagine something that is completely out of the box and new. It's just not possible. All right. So from the current state, we come to the recognition of evil, the darkness. Then we have to start looking. So while looking, okay, trying to find, then we like, I found it. Just like when I explained how we get to the wisdom of Kabbalah, right? It's darkness. I don't, also in the wisdom of Kabbalah, right? When we come to the wisdom of God, we don't really know what we're looking for. It's like I'm just not happy. Life isn't good. It just feels like dull. I'm just not motivated. I don't want to do anything. No, 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 no. Okay. We don't really know what we want, but we just know we're in a sour state. And then once we find it, like, we go, that's it. That's it. And then we move forward. Every step is like that. So it requires searching. Devran's asking, I see that my ego is dragging me along and doing nothing is extremely frustrating. Where will I be able to control this beast? You can't control the animal. You can work with the environment to control the animal. I can't control my animal. It's an animal. How can you control an animal? Right? In order to control the animal, I've got to be above the animal. If I'm at the animal level, I need to be above, right? In order to control the horse, I've got to ride the horse. I've got to be on top of the horse. Yes? So you got to be on top of the donkey. How? How? Okay. by using the environment. There is no other way to get on top of your desire except using the environment correctly. And everybody who will fail in this study, it will be because they didn't use the environment properly. They didn't use it or they used it incorrectly, not according to how we're learning. Think of it this way. In society, when we go out to the street to work, we behave in a certain way, don't we? Why? Because the society doesn't let me behave like how I want to behave. It forces me to behave like how we should behave when we're in society. So what's the society doing really? The society is controlling how I make decisions, right? It's controlling how I live. I want to go to work with shorts and, I don't know, slippers with a t-shirt, flip-flops, and take the surfboard and go to the beach at lunchtime or whatever. But the office says, listen, dude, you're an accountant. You got to wear a suit. Can't come to the office with flip-flops. Okay. So despite the fact that I want to do something different, I don't do it. I can't do it. So I overcome what I want to do because of the pressure of society. So if I use the group correctly, and then I say to myself, well, you know what Rabbi said, I've got to love the friends, I've got to treat them nice, I've got to give them a good mood. Then if we all start behaving that way, then the group can restrain me. And if I start acting like an animal, the group can say, listen, stop acting like a wild animal. Start working on being a man like we're working and studying here in the Wisdom of Kabbalah. So the 10 needs to adjust me. And I need to nullify to it if I want to raise myself above the animal. If I don't nullify myself to it, I will remain an animal too. This is why we're all a product of the environment. Use the environment correctly, you'll start becoming human. Use it incorrectly, you'll keep acting like a wild animal. Right? Does that make sense? The problem is we always think I can control something. We can't control it because many things inside of us from our childhood, from the way we were raised, are instinctive, reflexive. By the time, by the time I grow up with everything I went through in childhood, I'm already a mess. All right? We're all messed up. We're screwed up. All right? And this is how the society lets people out. We're all messed up. Now, the good thing about the human nature, right? Our nature, no matter what age we are, no matter what age we are, if we use a good environment correctly, our brains can rewire itself. So despite the fact that we've been through a lot of bad stuff in life, in the right environment, the mind can rewire itself. It can start to think differently. It can start to be different. You can change with the environment. Okay? This is what makes humans very special. You can get wired up. You can rewire yourself with the environment. Okay? So this is why a good environment is where we always need to invest. And this is why a good environment can really change us like 180 degrees completely if I learn to nullify myself to it. Okay, because if I nullify myself to it, then I get what the environment has to give or can give. If I don't, then they want to give me something, but I'm like a wall, just not letting anything in there. So to control yourself, you've got to allow the environment to massage you to change. That's the only way. Okay. All right. What else have I got here? I've got another question. Ingrid is saying I chose another 10 myself and now I don't know any words. Always the situation. Look, if we could make the right decision, right? Nobody would get divorced if we could all make the right decision with the person, right? Okay, nobody would get divorced. It's, okay, it's obvious, like that's the one. Okay, it's like it all starts like that. That's the one, and then we end up in a mess, right? Because we don't know. The important thing, though, the important thing is how to make it work, right? How can I make this work? And that is the whole wisdom. Pradeep is asking, I have a question on gratitude. I understood Shamati 1 to say we should associate the sense to the creator, else you become a receiver. How should I feel gratitude without being a receiver? If you can only feel gratitude if what you went through, even the darkness, like I explained in the beginning of the article, even when it's dark, that darkness, that bad phase you went through brought you to a point of understanding, a point of like, oh yeah, now I get it. Like a resolution. Like it's like I had a problem and I solved it. So from the darkness, I've come to light. That whole trip now can turn into a gratitude. That's what he's talking about. And this is why he gave a good example. He's saying, look, I'm looking at life, I'm looking at everybody around me, and nobody's even asking about why we're living. Everybody's just living their lives. Nobody's worried about it. And just me stuck here looking at all these people thinking, why am I living? What's the purpose? And nobody even understands me either. Right? They don't understand me. I can't talk to people. Even my family seems like estranged. Right? Weird. And all right, at the end of the day, he says, "Wow, you see how lucky you are, because from everyone nobody's asking. Everybody's happy to live and die. Nobody cares. Nobody's thinking about it. But you're now thinking about it. That's like an awakening. It's from darkness, but it's like sometimes you go through a bad experience and teaches you a good lesson. You all of a sudden understand life differently and say, wow, now that made a difference. Okay. And that's how it is. That's how you start building gratitude when you begin to see on the path the good and the bad, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything just works for you now. And then these little things, everything you go through become this gratitude. It's like, wow, oh, that I learned from this bad event. That I learned from that darkness. I've had a bad fall, but that took me here. And all of those little things turn into gratitude. And it's true. Sometimes people go through like rough states, and afterwards it turns into this, I don't know how to say it. It just you start to think about what you got from a state, and it makes sense. You begin to feel good about it. It's like nostalgia. Yeah. Right. You had a bad experience in the past, and sometimes you're thinking about what happened, and then you got a nice little grin on your face because it's nostalgia. It's turned the bitter situation into sweet because from that situation you came now to this situation, which is a deeper level of understanding or feeling, and it doesn't feel bad anymore. It actually has um, how do they say it? Sweetening, right? It's sweetening. Oh. So if you wanted, without being a receiver, make use of the situation to go forward. That's what I wanted to say. Aishegil is asking, can I approach this article's perspective from the angle of feeling it in relation to my 10? How can I do that? You should look at every article and take whatever you can from it to relate it to the group, to the 10. Okay? You should feel you're grateful for the 10 you got. For very one simple reason. Look, the article is really good. We just need to see it that way. He says you're really lucky you've asked about the meaning of life. Okay. And now you have a chance to do something, even the smallest thing, for the meaning of life. Okay. Then you discover something else. You discover nine other people in your group. Okay. They also asked the same question. Now you're thinking, wow, I'm really lucky now because now we've got a team. Before I was all on my own. It was just me, myself, and I. But now I've got friends who actually feel just like I do. Isn't that gratitude? That's gratitude. We should appreciate that seriously. Loneliness is a big sickness now. It's going to get worse. And you can see it with people who are alone, right? Alone people, as they grow older, they'll start to lose it up here, right? They'll become really unbalanced, really unhealthy. They'll be like weird, weird. Why? Because they're not connecting with others. When you're not connecting, you're not rewiring yourself. You're not in connection. You're not in touch with reality. You're like disconnected from reality. It's very important to be in connection with people. Right? Being alone is comfortable. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. We'll see in the future as well. It's not recommended to be alone. Always have people to connect with, even if you're having a bad day or so. Okay. A bad connection is better than no connection at all. Even a bad connection is better than no connection because with no connection, you've got no feedback. You're like completely disconnected from the human level. Okay. I don't know, you'll be stroking your cats and kittens and dogs at home. Right. And the only reason people love them is because they don't answer back. Okay. You can scream at your cat, nobody's going to answer you back. So you're comfortable. You know, it doesn't talk back. I do the talking. That's why people like pets. They do the talking, and the pets do the listening and the shutting up. A complete disconnection from the human level. So we've got to work on it. Yasin, the article explains the conditions we're going through it very clearly. This raises a question. What am I supposed to do now? Well, you should think about what you're supposed to do now. I can't tell you guys every day, every second what you're supposed to do with life. You got to read, you got to work, and you got to say, okay, now to advance with everything I've learned, with all the lessons, what am I going to do now? So take a book and start writing what I think you should be, what you think you should be doing. And if you got a 10, right, even better, with the 10, you guys should sit and think, okay, guys, what should we do now? What should we do today to go one step forward in the love of friends, in our connection, to connect stronger between us so we can connect stronger with the Creator? If the 10 isn't doing that, all right, it's not a 10. It's not a 10. I know what it is. Gang, but not a 10. Okay. Right, so let's take one more. Semi is asking, after praying to the Creator, I sleep. No, after praying to the Creator, I step in to ensure everything goes right. How can I come to a true prayer in this state? Well, that's good because you should see that nothing you ensure goes right, and that everything is supposed to go according to what the Creator thinks is right and not what you think is right. Okay. And then you got room to pray. But the effort is good. The effort is always good. A true prayer, a person comes to a true prayer when a person understands that he just can't do it. I can't do anything right. It's a good thing. I feel like that often. It's like I can't do it. It feels like I can't get anything right. Nothing. Nothing. And it's good. And it's good because only then the creator, of course. I've got to have a chat with the old man. All right. So then a person has to talk with the creator. Yeah. And then you begin to set your intention. You begin to think about why you're doing it, why you want to do something good for others, why you think it's important to do something good for others. Then you start to think before you do something. You begin to contemplate, meditate on the idea that I want to do something good for the friends. Why? Because. And then things start to settle down. Then your thoughts, your intention, your direction, your heart, you just want to go in that right flow. Okay? This is why the most important thing is thinking about why I want to do something and not just doing something. Okay. That is the most important thing. And then you can actually build love for your friends with the thought. Because interestingly enough, the thought is what grows a person's desire. So if I think of them, if I think of doing good things for them, I feel like I'm getting closer to loving them because I'm thinking about them. All right. It's like I'm thinking about the kids, right? I think about them. I feel like I love them. I want to do something for them. Anything I do for them, I'm going to feel great about it. Why? Because I love them and I'm thinking about the friends and I'm thinking, wow, these people are important for me. And I think I can love them. All right. And tomorrow it'll be a different ball game. But today, with all the thought and the intention you're putting behind the action, you can feel like you're getting close to them. And it's a good thing. It's a good sign. Because every time I do that and I see like, I have this good feeling about it, okay, thinking about others, it already is one impression, like it says in the article, I'm getting an impression now, okay? Now I can remember this for tomorrow if I'm in the darkness. So what happened yesterday now becomes light for the future when I'm in the dark. Then I can say, oh, thank God I went through that yesterday. All right. We have to be like, it's like building a chain, right? I've got to do it link by link by link by link, and I've got to start putting them all together, and then it becomes a chain. And this is exactly how we should work in the group with everything we live. So life should be for us like this dialogue, right? With the creator, like why I want to do this and how I want to do this, and everything I've learned should be this little conversation with the creator, okay? Through the friends. And this is why the friends are important because I want to take this inner conversation and I want to filter it with the group. I want to share it with them. And then I want to take their impression. I want them to share with me. Then my little vessel becomes a big vessel because now we're all integrating into one little love bundle. Hmm? Quite romantic, huh? And then we can move forward. Then you'll see that everything you do on your own, ah, nothing will come out. But if I do it with the friends, And if I think about why, how, what's the purpose of it all, then it turns into magic, right? It's like we had a good Saturday 2 weeks ago. Okay. You and the guys went out there together. See, with your old 10, the guys came, you all prepared for us. Okay. And then it turned into a beautiful day. Why? Because the 10 came together, they served the group, they wanted to go and do something for the group, and it turned into something beautiful. All right. Alone, things won't work out. This is why loneliness is going to be a bad sickness. All right, I've got to go. Apparently, I've got another thing happening in 30 seconds. So have a good evening, and we'll do it next time. And have a good new year, everybody. Bye.